Hi, everyone. I'm Serby. I'm here with the AI for HR community. And today I'm so pleased to be talking to Desmond Chen, based out of Singapore. So, first of all, thank you for the late night interview. But, Desmond, please tell us a little bit about your background. Who are you and what do you do?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Desmond here, based in Singapore. I'm so glad to be here and so enthusiastic for the AI for HR community. Today, I'm actually a global HR leader with over 17 years. My past experiences have always been in regional and global roles in FMCG, tech, and even the retail space. And for me, I'm someone who really believes and has led a lot of HR and tech transformation, right? To really scale up both the organization and the people capabilities. And with AI, I genuinely believe that the future is here, right? And my favorite tagline, as always, Survey, is AI helps humans to be more humane. And we'll talk a little bit more about that.
I really love that line. I think it's such a core benefit of AI that probably is not talked about enough, but it really could enable us to elevate what is human in us all and what the business really needs from HR folks is a
It
bit of
is.
that humane shift. So tell me about your experiences in HR and were there particular pain points that you've identified that you think, that's an opportunity where AI is going to come and make a really big difference in what I do?
Sure. Let me just come back from my own experiences first, Survey, is the fact that, I was leading HR transformation, where I have actually led the entire architecture roadmaps for certain regions, especially in APAC. Right? And when I was doing those implementation of Workday, of ADP, of Kronos back in the days, right, a multi-system architecture, what struck out to me the most is that we paid a very hefty amount, right, to for all these licenses and system setups. But
Mhm.
end of the day, right, whether does it meet the business at where it is and whether you are utilizing the systems to the best of its functionality. And I think that's where my common bugbear is. Today, are we having big enterprise systems where we paid millions for it, but truly is it meeting a fit for purpose, right? And to be able for us to have the agility to flex, according to business dynamics, according to changing HR trends and all of that, right? I truly think that with AI, it allows the agility for us to build things from scratch, right? To reimagine, what we can truly do, where we have systems built by HR for HR and for the employees. And I think that's really one important point for me that I really would love to see a very different HR system architecture and ecosystem where in the past where maybe there's one or multiple enterprise systems connected to each other, right? In the future, I imagine a lot more scalable AI ecosystem where it's more plug and play, and we could say, hey, today we need something, tomorrow let's change it. Or we just build something from scratch and deploy it again, right? Where it allows us the agility, the scalability, and most importantly, I truly believe is to meet the business and the people at where they are and where they need us to be in.
Yeah.
Right. And that's so beautiful.
It's wonderful. And I think you can clear something up for me because I've worked in the large multinational organizations, right? You've worked in a similar space. And I've always felt that it is more difficult to do custom when you're in that space versus when you're in a smaller company. And I would love to hear your perspective on like because I think you're shifting that mindset. You're saying, that shouldn't be a factor as to why we hold ourselves back. So how is it that large enterprises can get into this space of custom AI solutions? Like, how do you envision the scalability of that?
That's a great question. And I think first things first, right, is really to rethink about their entire HR architecture of systems, right? And I've seen it, right, where today they say, oh, I have 100 over systems. They are so interdependent on each other that we could no longer declutter it, right?
Yeah.
And the more you add on to it, the more expensive and the more harder it is to get out of that, right?
Mhm.
Companies can really start thinking about is, hey, what if we can start small and experiment, right? And let's just use a specific example. Let's say onboarding, right? Do we have the opportunity to work on a fit for purpose AI tool or platform or workflow and deploy it in certain markets to see whether it works and whether it can replace certain functionalities that exist in their today's environment,
Mhm.
right? And I would say that it's almost like a slowly peeling the onion, if I can use that analogy. Imagine if it's a big, massive onion, how can we strip the layer one at a time? And being able to show that it's so echo rich that, end of the day, how do we enable this ecosystem of AI talking to each other right? And yet be nimble enough to say that, hey, there's no core dependency to say, hey, all of these things must be only housed in certain systems or you will break, which is what companies face today. In my
Mhm.
own words, it's about mitigating the risk as well, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
hence, many often we are very held ransom, right, by large clunky systems that we wish that we have the chance to put out.
Yeah.
But tomorrow with AI, it's about, how can we deploy small speak for purpose systems first and tools and processes, right? And see what works. Because to me, end of the day is while we have global systems, the look and feel and the purpose of it in every country might look slightly different.
Yeah.
Right. And let's talk about it, right? So where in US or in mature markets, we always need the scale of it, the scale, the size. But let's say if you are going to enter into a white space market, right? We say, hey, tomorrow we're going to go Brazil, or we're going to go Mexico, we're going to go Myanmar, right? Or South Africa. Where today you don't have any business, right? We say, hey, you can't deploy an SAP system of $1 million, right? It's cost as well, right, to the business. And say, hey, how can we deploy something that's light, but also has an integration feed back to the main system, whatever that looks like, right? So to me, immediately there's cost efficiency,
Yeah.
there's time savings, and we can experiment, right, in those smaller markets to see what it looks like. And I think hence the future is there, right? Where you say, look,
Yeah.
let's have a best of both worlds. I'm not saying we strip out everything. It's almost like an interdependent system where we can experiment and fail at scale, if you know what I mean.
And I love that shift because, like, in my experience, it was exactly that, which is we build a solution that's large and global and really fit for purpose for bigger markets. And these smaller markets get a one size fits all solution that really, you bucket like Colombia in with Cambodia, and it's like, well, the needs are completely different. And so I love that this is actually the mindset shift about, think about those folks that this now empowers to really elevate the HR experience. Maybe it doesn't make a tremendous difference in some of the larger markets, but there's a massive opportunity in places that we were previously completely overlooking. So,
And if I push one step further, right, what's stopping us from encouraging employees, right, to build their own HR workflows?
mhm,
And it's going to be a fully automated, autonomous HR led, no, employee led HR workflow,
yeah,
right? And they
yeah,
own it, right? We can say let's have a co-creation process where HR processor speaks to you, at you, and with you, right?
yeah,
Versus to say, hey, this is a top-down tool from US, and figure it out. But that's where most of the frustrations I'm seeing in emerging markets, right? So I
yeah,
really think that, how can we have the best of both worlds?
yeah.
And that's where we
It's
sit.
it's a whole new approach to employee-led design, literally employee-led. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's super cool. And so obviously we're here talking because you and I both learned about this AI for HR community and
Mm-hmm.
found it of interest. I think we have kind of similar backgrounds. So I love that
Yep.
it's affecting folks on our career journey path as well, because I think there's a large variety of folks. There's a lot of people who work from smaller enterprises, a lot of independent contributors who use it. And so I love that variety. And I'm curious what attracted you to the platform and what is it that you are really hoping to bring from your perspective, from your experience as a founding advisor of the platform?
Sure. For me, I think first things first, what attracted me to this platform is really the fact that this is HR by HR.
Mm,
And it's not made up of, salespeople or dev people, or product people, right? Who imagine what HR could be and imagine what employees really need, but they don't really have a single clue sometimes, right? Not all the time, to what is usually the right user experience and to what business truly needs end of the day, right? And I think since for me, I like the fact that, this is a community that's built from ground up, right? All of us are enthusiasts of AI and HR in some shapes and form, right? And we truly believe that with a combination of AI and HR, we bring human back to human resources,
mhm,
right? And I think that is one big missed opportunity that I really would love to see, right? And say, hey, let's evolve this platform to not only talk about AI for HR, but more so than that, right? How are we as a HR community together impacting the greater good for businesses and people worldwide and using AI as a powerful leverage, let's call it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And for me, end of the day, right, I contribute from the perspective of I have the experience in working in emerging markets.
Mhm.
I've played a global role where I've worked very well with US, with Europe, and Asia, right? So I sit in intersection from a business and cultural perspective. And then we could then say, hey, More so, because I've done transformation, I could say, how are we rethinking these products, right? Not only from a HR perspective, but more so from an end user all the way to the tech perspective of things, right? Because to me, it's not just a single-minded solutioning. To me, it's about 1 plus 1 equals to 10. And that's the way I see it, right? We used to say 1 plus 1 is 3, but I think with AI, it's going to be 10.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, the impact is absolutely exponentially higher than what we were able to do in the past, and you have this
It is.
fundamental starting point of rethink the architecture. And it also is this whole new take on systems agnostic design, because it doesn't matter what a Workday can do or what an SAP can do or whatever, because you can fill in the gaps potentially. And so you really design that optimum thing from the user perspective, and then you make the tech fit that as best possible.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And in fact, I would almost wish if we push it one step further, why can't the entire end-to-end employee experience be centered around AI, where it supports the admin, the basic stuff of it, and HR and leaders can truly be in moments that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know whether you heard of this before, but the running joke for many employees or companies is that HR, we are only there when we're hired and when they leave. They have
Mm,
never spoke to any HR before after that.
yeah.
So I wonder what's missing really. Are we so overwhelmed? Or is it because we forgot at the end of the day, employees are the ones that matters to the business as well? So coming back, right, it's about how do we bring the humaneness in how we redesign AI and HR workflows and experiences. See that as a very powerful amplifier for us.
What I want to close with is if there are HR professionals, especially like you think about people in your network that are
Sure.
either unsure of whether they're ready to jump into a space like this, or perhaps they're not sure whether they have the right background to dive into
Yep.
AI. I'm just curious what you would say to HR professionals who are contemplating diving in, but just don't know how and whether they're ready.
I would just say one thing as a coach. This is a safe space and all of us are here for you. Right. End of the day, right? If you're afraid, if you're scared, you're not sure, and you're overwhelmed by all the geek language, let's call it,
Yeah.
right? And frightened by it, it's okay, right? All of us are here to learn and grow together. And this is a HR for HR community where we help bring AI to you, right? And build up your confidence and your curiosity and to explore what's possible for all of us with
Mhm.
actual live cases. And I think end of the day, this is a real invite, right, to HR professionals out there to say, hey, if you had a chance to reimagine the world of HR for employees, what could that be? Right? I'm sure this question would have appeared somewhere in your career somehow. Join
Yeah.
us. It's the right moment
Yeah.
to be.
I love that. That's, I think, a very motivational thought, and the support and the community. And we are all here for you. And in fact, we are all in it together because we're all learning
It
this is
is.
so new, evolving day by day. I think that's an excellent message to drive.
It is.
So, Desmond, I will then close there. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk about your experience and your background, as well as what you're envisioning for the AI for HR community. I hope this is the first of many talks because I want to continue hearing from you and what you're building as you start your new adventure at the next company. So, thank you so much for your time today, and we'll chat soon.
Thank you so much for having me.